Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with the boys, PD and Cal. Today we're going to be talking about the Marvels trailer.
Wait, just say
Moment.
welcome back. Welcome with having the whole crew together. Good Lord.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome.
Okay, now go into it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. We're here with the whole crew finally. It's been a long time getting all three of us together, but hey, we're back on. We're rolling on the whole game. And I have once again the marvelous Mr. Calvin Ellis, and as usual, the difficult PD himself. So, hey, PD, selector, roll the commercial.
Tell them what we're doing.
We're talking about the Marvels trailer. We're going to talk about what we think about it. It looks fantastic, and we think it's going to be great.
All right, hold on for a second.
I predict another $1 billion movie.
Wow, this guy.
You know what? I can't. You know what? Let's just see the tape.
Carol Danvers, prodigal child of the Milky Way.
Nick Fury, my favorite one-eyed man of intrigue.
How goes it out there?
Cold, no air, space.
Captain Marvel, the Annihilator. You took everything from me. And now I'm returning the favor.
Wow.
What is happening to me? She's entangled our light-based powers. So we switch places whenever we use them.
Strong theory.
You can absorb light. I can see it. And Kamala.
Who's Kamala?
Hi. She can turn light into physical matter, which I have never heard of.
I could totally show you.
No!
She's targeting every planet we call home. I would never choose to bring anybody into this.
You are not the only thing standing between this and the universe. Oh my god, we're a team. Higher. Further. Faster.
Who's that good kitty goose?
I can't. Can you?
I got it.
Looking good. It's looking good. Photon got her powers. Finally, we see her full photon powers. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. You know, we have Kamala Khan doing the comedy thing as usual. And of course, our girl, Captain Marvel, knocked it out the box. So, hey, I'm pushing this nice little easy one over to our boy, PD. PD, give us a little bit of what you got to say, because I know Kyle has a lot to say going forward. You know, I agree. You agree with me. I like
Let
that.
me finish what I'm. Don't even start that nonsense. Let me just say I like the direction of this, whereas the other trailer, they went with Kamala first. If you have $1 billion movie, right, you lead with Brie Larson, the person who was in the $1 billion movie, the person who's being promoted on the Nissan commercials. They're using her as the front person for their commercials. Sell your movie with your bread, with your top biller. This is the person you have. Why did they go with Kamala just because they're saying, hey, this is a Marvel Universe movie? We can put Carol to the back end of this trailer, whereas this one, she's front and center as they're supposed to. You want to sell this? You want to make some money? You don't go with the weaker thing from the TV show. Sorry to say, one of the weaker performances is Miss Marvel. So you lead with this. Now, the other problem is I don't like the costume they have Photon in. I don't like the name Photon. The costume is a little too puffy for me. But at the same time, we have another issue, is that they're thinking about delaying this movie. They're thinking that this strike is not going to be over by November. And it's just like, how much more do they need to do for this thing? Like, come on. But It shows that they might be a little shaky in deciding what they want to do. Say, hey, we got good reason to stop. This thing might not be over yet, but ultimately, trailer wise, it's looking good.
Cal, what's your take on it, my friend?
Before I go any further, are you ringing a bell?
No, that might be my phone. That's just.
Ring the
Okay.
bell.
I thought you were doing like one of these other YouTubers. Every time somebody says something they think is cool, they, like press like the air horn or a bell or something. I was like, we haven't sunk that low yet.
But
But we will if we can,
We will.
if we can get some money. Okay, just so you know.
What?
We do the
Okay.
clap. We do the clap.
All right. Well, I'm gonna agree with Petey. Second trailer is definitely stronger. Better showcase of all the characters overall. Okay, and definitely more favorable towards Carol Danvers with this one. But I'm going to be very honest. I have no idea what the reception to this film is going to be like. The last 3 or 4 films that I prognosticated for, the audience let me know that where I was and where the audience is are 2 different places. So, I want to see what people do with this one at the end of the day, because I have no idea if this is going to be people who come in and they're like, oh, okay, we enjoy the story, or they're going to spend all of their time looking at everything but the story. The special effects, what outfit Brie Larson is wearing, how ugly Photon's outfit is, and that's a really ugly outfit, I gotta say. So, I'm not sure where you people are at right now. You come in, the story's good, still hate it. Come in, the story's great, still hate it. We're in this position now where everything's horrible unless it's excellent. And I'm just not sure where you guys are. Stuff that I thought was gonna like really be a crowd pleaser. Yeah, you guys came back and said, hell no, this is not a crowd pleaser. We don't like his shoes. That's enough. This is like Showtime at the Apollo right now. You get the hook. You get the hook if your collar's upturned the wrong way.
Well,
But just based on the trailer, if I had to just base it on the trailer, yes, I'm actually interested in seeing the film, and that's saying a lot because there's a lot of stuff coming out, a lot of stuff coming down the pike. I've got no interest in whatsoever, i.e., Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion is already out, and I think we're going to talk about that afterwards.
And it's trash.
It is Petey, I can't say I disagreed. I like the first trailers. It was fun. I like the Kamala Khan.
no, I said lead with your thoroughbred. You lead with the person that got you to the $1 billion. Lead the person who was in the Avengers Endgame. Lead with the person who's also in the Nissan campaign. That's all I'm saying. It was a fun trailer. I just didn't think they should lead with the what's name. So sorry, keep going.
Also, the Photon outfit is not that different from what she's wearing now. So I don't see what the issue is.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, you look at what she's got.
You show what I just sent you.
Look at what she's got over there in the comics, and look at what she's wearing over there.
I got the comics. So
she looks like she's wearing like a cardboard cutout, a bunch of Delwood boxes glued together in the movie, and then the outfit in the comic looks form fitting, looks sleek, looks a lot better. Two different things, man. Two different things.
Are you sure what it is?
All right, you're just saying because they got the color scheme correct that somehow it's the same thing, and it's not.
It's the color scheme, bro. It's the color scheme. No, dude, no. The thing I showed you, man. I sent you.
me this, so I'm showing you her costume. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, that looks accurate. That looks accurate.
Thank you.
Not what I sent you.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. We already got it. He agrees. We got.
We are going downhill already. I see, huh? People are doing their own thing. Take it back.
You asked me to show you. I'll show you her costume. Did it look like that?
Look at the second one that says Photon Marvel at top, the tab that you had before that you're not showing now.
When she sat down on the couch, the costume popped up in her face like this. It's not. Look, they fixed Brie Larson's costume, right? They fixed it. You can see they fixed it. It's stylized. Like look at Spider-Man and do that for everybody.
It didn't look bad to me. We can disagree. I'm trying. It's definitely better than the one that when they cloned Tyrone in. Okay, so I'm all for this.
Now we're going to. Now you're really reaching.
So I like the costume, but overall, I think this movie looks as though it's going to be pretty strong. It has the fun in it. It has the taking us out into space with Captain Marvel. We're seeing her full power. We're seeing all the range of their powers. Finally, Marvel is definitely coming out with all three, showing what all three can possibly do. The only thing I have a tad bit, or two little tad bit things is Nick Fury, number one, and that's because of Secret Invasion. That's a whole nother discussion. And two is the whole thing with the villain who is a Kree, I believe, a Kree person who is going after Captain Marvel. So I think, uh, I'm not sure who this person is, who the villain is going to be, the big bad, or whether she's a front from somebody. But I don't know. I'm not feeling the evil gravitas bad guy. And I think this has to be something. I don't want to say. I don't want to say it, but I'll say it. I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking Wonder Woman. You're thinking Shazam. The villains don't come off very strong, and if you don't have a strong and Shazam and Black Adam, if the antagonist doesn't come off strong, the protagonist doesn't come off strong. So that's my only fear right there. Okay, whoever this person is, they need to do a better job of building the villain up.
I would say, what was it? I think Brie Larson said that there's about 5 plot lines that are going to be involved in here, so we could probably have Ronan from the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's not necessarily the answer, but it's like a lot of things they're trying to encompass in this thing. Kamala Khan's show, possibly wherever Monica is from Vision Quest, or what's that? WandaVision. That was it, WandaVision. So I don't know. They're showing more of the villain right now, so I don't know if Ronan couldn't have just been the villain, but obviously it's a girl power thing, so they have a female villain in there. And in the case of who was it? I think Ant-Man, the second Ant-Man, where they had the Ghost, which had a cool villain, but wasn't a villain that was big enough for the story, so they kind of became all the other stuff that was involved in it. So Marvel stuff now has moved away from the villains. They're kind of the back thing. I think Cal said it many a time. So it's kind of the more about what the heroes are going through. And they have something for them to kind of figure out right now. So we'll see a lot of them, and then we'll cut away back to the villains. So I can see your point, but at the same time, it's kind of going for a female villain, have a little girl power, something or another. And we'll see how, hopefully it works out. Who knows?
I mean, I'm not. Look, if we're gonna have a villain, it shouldn't just be. It has to be someone that's. You have 3 very powerful characters. You have Captain Marvel, you have Photon, and now you have Miss Marvel. And you're dealing with a villain. Yes, she's a Kree. I think they're saying she's a Kree revolutionary by the name of Dar Brand or something. And she's played by Zawi Ashton, who, by the way, is I think the fiance for Loki in real life. So I'm saying she's being played as the villain, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not knocking that, but you got to give us more. The bracelet shouldn't just be it to change reality. If it's just entangling, that's another thing. Is it if the bracelet is entangling their power? How would she know about the other 2? Does she know about Photon?
Right. Now you're going into our territory where we kind of pick it apart right now. You just gave us a little thing. She has a Kamala Khan. If you hadn't seen that, you're right. You're right. We don't know that there's if you haven't seen the Kamala Khan, you don't know if there's the bracelet thing. So that's a good point. But she's taking the Ronin thing, hitting it, and maybe you saw it for 2 seconds. I guess that's why they felt strongly going with the Kamala Khan first, because they showing her bracelet and whatnot. So I see your point, but now we're really picking it apart, and it's just supposed to be fun, right?
It's going to be fun, but I'm saying, are we talking about this being Kamala Khan and her people? Remember, they're supposed to be some type of special people. Are they really Kree? Did they get the technology from the Kree? Because at one point people were saying, "Oh, they're all related to Shang-Chi or something like that."
You know, the clandestine, the MCU clandestine, right?
Are the clandestines Kree?
I don't think they are, or they could be. Who knows? You might.
No.
You're asking a lot of heavy questions here.
You're asking me if the clandestines are Kree?
Are they related to the Kree?
Not
They are not.
in the comics in comparison what this is, they could always be. I mean, they could change it.
If we're talking about the comic, no. If we're talking about the film, who knows?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Because in the comic book, Kamala Khan is not a mutant. She became a mutant in that show. Now they had to kill her off and bring her back, and she's now a mutant.
She got a half an X-Men outfit on her outfit. They can't make it. And they're letting the character, the actress writing the story now? Didn't they have her involved in it? I think she's supposedly writing something or writing a story. I'm not sure how much she's writing, but she's involved in it. But
Hey, why not? Let everybody write. They're taking a lot of their cues from Twitter. Let everybody write.
Hey, I mean, as long as it's successful, that's all that matters, right?
No, no, it doesn't.
All that matters. Hey, if it's successful, that's it.
No, absolutely not. Just be glad we're not reviewing the Barbie movie, and then I will show you. Just because it's successful doesn't make it good.
point.
You, man. All right. So listen. So we're all in agreement. This seems like a very strong um, show that we're gonna definitely go check out this movie, right?
Yeah.
This may be the Chris. This may be the breakout. I think this may be the breakout Thanksgiving hit for Disney.
Well, they need it.
You know, I mean, we've seen that there's been challenges for superhero movies, coming out. But if Barbie's getting $500 million, we gotta say
Now you're making a correlation that doesn't work. You're just assuming that it's going.
Thankfully, we're not reviewing that movie, okay? Because that movie did the big bamboozle, if you will, and then a lot of stuff with the superhero movies, it's self-inflicted wounds. You had an audience that was coming out, to see these movies, even when the movies didn't necessarily have great reviews, they were still coming out to see them, and then again, you shoot yourself in your own foot, and you take an aim at the other one. That's just self-sabotage, to be quite honest. Can they pull themselves out of it? I do not know. I need to see how people react to the next two films and have an understanding of where the audience is at.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right. It could be, but remember they front loaded the schedule, right? Yeah, actually, I don't even know if that's a problem. They front loaded the schedule with all the action and superhero, but then they did the Mission Impossible movie, which should have been a humongous hit. I saw the movie; it was a humongous. It should have been a humongous hit, and yet it didn't do as well again as Barbie. You know, and what's that other movie? Oppenheimer. You know,
What
so,
were the numbers on Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible. It did. Hold on, let me punch it up.
Like 400 now? Is that 400 now?
Mojo right here. I'm checking Box Office Mojo. Worldwide box office right now. And we're talking about Mission Impossible. You're right, 448 right now worldwide. You know, but that's after what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. Whereas that's the out of all the movies of the year so far, it's number 8, and Barbie's number 3 is 774 million. It's going to break $1 billion. So far the only movie now to break $1 billion is Super Mario Brothers. The number 2 movie is Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's up at 844.
Well, I think that's showing something about where the audience is right now, because I saw Super Mario Brothers. That wasn't a good movie. That was not a very good movie overall, but it was different. Brought the kids out. They wanted to see it. Story wise, wasn't a very strong movie at all. But it hit its audience. Did what it was hit its audience. Did what it was supposed to do. Barbie. Oh my goodness. Yep. Unfortunately, we're not doing Barbie, or else I would let loose on that at the end of the day. But there's a confluence of events that goes on with it. But with Mission Impossible, I have to admit, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that those are the numbers for it. I haven't paid attention to it. I haven't seen it either. But I'm surprised that those are the numbers for that movie right now. I don't know what it'll do long term, but I'm surprised those are the numbers right now.
Especially after Top Gun, I thought this guy was doing another $1 billion movie, but hey, what can you say? I mean, look at Transformers. In fact, let me not even do it. Let me just show you the screen so you guys can see. Oh, I'm sorry. Someone once again has disabled my ability to do that, but I'll pass it on to P right here.
What, you're gonna show a stilted thing, or what? What are you trying to show?
That's okay. I'm just gonna shoot. I'm just gonna just shoot it to you, bro. I'm trying to say I don't want to have no problems. I mean, I know who controls right here. And since you're the guy controlling stuff, I want to make sure that I don't cause no issues.
Oh my God, you're turning everything into a novella.
Speaking of novellas, if you haven't seen The Surrogacy, you might want to check that out. 23 episodes of pure nonstop drama.
This thing, what's up with this? Hold on, I can't hear you. Hold on, something's going on my computer. Oh, let me stop something. Hold on, don't go anywhere, guys. Hey. Let me pause it. Don't go anywhere. Moment.
Hey, so like I was saying before, this is the box office charts of Box Office Mojo, and you can clearly see the top movie now is Super Mario Brothers. You know, it made 1.3 billion, and you see Guardians of the Galaxy at 844. And then Barbie's coming up fast after just one Goonie Google week at 774 million. Come on, what the heck does it matter? So I'm hoping the Marvels can right the wrongs that we're seeing here right now. You know, I mean, hey, Mission Impossible, I consider that kind of like a superhero, kind of like a comic booky movie, and it's at 448. Come on, you know what I'm trying to say?
Again, I really just don't understand where the audience is at right now. I don't know if they just want something different, and that's where we're seeing the turnout because I saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. That was not a good story. That was not a good story at the end of the day, but it got the kids out. You know, kids who I spoke with, about the film, they liked it, they enjoyed it. I was like, okay, fine. So they hit their target audience at the end of the day. So one, the story's not necessarily the best or even good for that matter, but they hit their target audience. That's something that superhero movies have not been doing. And then when you look at the target audience for the superhero guys, that's a fractured audience right now. Because you have people who are actually cheering for these movies to fail. Nobody was doing that for the Super Mario movie. However, then you get to Tom Cruise's Top Gun, and you would think that this guy had a really good reservoir of people wanting to come out and see, the movie based on Top Gun, where they were just like, just give us, some solid fare, just give us some solid, action, Hollywood, give us that type of stuff. And then I'm, hearing the numbers for Mission Impossible, that doesn't quite sound what it should be. So the audience's determination of what they're coming out for is still not something set. Maybe it's still some, last lingering effects of COVID, if you will, but otherwise it's becoming really hard to predict what people are coming out for and why they're coming out for it.
Well, I mean, you can take a look at the numbers in domestic. I think prior to 2019, these movies would have been domestic probably 30%, right?
Mhm.
At the max. Now you have like, so when you have a Fast X, that's typical. It should have been, you have a huge international market, particularly China. Now you have it almost 50-50 in some instances, you know what I'm trying to say? And it's the
Oh, not Fast X.
Fast X has always been those has been strongly international. You know, there's done better internationally than it's done first. And I guess it's not going to hit the billion, but it's doing pretty strong. You know, I mean, Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse is doing way better than before. You know, but films like Little Mermaid and Ant-Man should have done better. Well, then again, we could always say Ant-Man wasn't going to do better because we know Ant-Man. You know,
No, Ant-Man, I think Ant-Man is right where I think Ant-Man is right where it should have been. It was never this really high performing film. It didn't really have like the best audience in comparison to the other Marvel films. But let me ask you this, Mars. Okay, if we look at the two Tom Cruise movies, Mission Impossible and Top Gun, which one would you think would have been the billion-dollar movie?
Mission Impossible.
Exactly. That's the problem. That is the problem I'm looking at here. I'm like, okay, so if Top Gun had done 400 million, everybody would have been like, oh, that's great. That would have been a very successful for that type of film, for a sequel to something that came out decades ago. I think nobody would have had any issue with it. It overperformed all expectations at the end of the day. Mission Impossible, you think should fall along with it? Nope, scaled back. And that's where we're at. It's almost like the economy where you say, okay, we got we got the lowest numbers here, but this is still bad, and that's bad enough to affect all the positive that's going on. So for me, it's just like really dodgy in terms of the prognostication when it comes to these films.
What I'm saying, you're right, and I think, but if you take a look at the numbers, the domestic numbers you see for Mission Impossible, a lot of people didn't come out for that. Relative to if you put up the Top Gun numbers, a lot more people went out to go see that film in the
Right.
U.S.
Why do you think? Why do you think? I mean, if we go by regular numbers, we would think that more people would have come out for Mission Impossible than they would have come out for Top Gun. Why did more people come out for Top Gun, less people come out for Mission Impossible?
That's the thing I don't get. That's if I understood that, bro, me and you would be in Hollywood right now, sipping mango martinis right now. You know what I'm trying to say? But
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. You know, again, Rise of the Beast, I don't think it was necessarily worse than the last one, right? It was bad, but yet you figure it would still have done better than what it did. Oppenheimer surprised me. 400 million. It's going to overtake most of these films here within the next couple of weeks. It's going to be at least.
And Oppenheimer is a 3-hour movie, so that's something else. You got to factor that in too. So anytime you're like, oh, it got Barbie trounced it. I was like, no, you could see Barbie twice in the time that you're going to sit to see Oppenheimer. So I factored that in at the end of the day. But I don't know. PD, what do you think?
Well, I go. It's for Mission Impossible. There's no set reason why it should, outside of it being delayed with the COVID thing. A lot of things you've seen being delayed, obviously like Flash and stuff like that, underperformed. That's the only thing outside of people going with some nonsense that how strict Tom Cruise was during COVID when everyone was strict. Anyone you work with was checking on you. Did you get your vaccination? Do you got your mask? Everyone was like that, but they kind of took it to a level over. So I'm not, and the problem is you can't even factor that in because you have Top Gun Maverick, which did so well. So it's like you had one that did well, and then you have this one, which is just like a fun action movie. There's no good reason why that didn't work out. I mean, yes, Transformers definitely underperformed for the foreign market because usually with the buzz of Bumblebee, you'd think the next one would be bigger. But it's really kind of, have you also have, well, I guess no, we can't go into Elemental. Oppenheimer, I think they kind of gave it they did the Barbenheimer thing. So it was kind of had this, in my mind, stealth marketing that they kind of said, look at how much these two movies did together. They made what was it, like almost 300 million for the box office. So kind of putting those two like as they were like a double feature, as I've been saying, where it's like I don't think you would go see, but people are now, because the news kind of telling them, is like saying, I just saw Barbie, now I'm going to see Oppenheimer. And they're not, but it's really at this point you can't really, it's really hard to say what is going to be a definite hit and what's going to be like Super Mario Brothers. I guess with Mario Kart as big as it is, you can say that people have been waiting to see that kind of thing. Guardians was a successful franchise. Ultimately shows you that in this climate, maybe you shouldn't stop doing them. Maybe you shouldn't end them to just do some, I guess it'd be cheaper doing some Star-Lord stuff, but you had the lead in there that would say good, but Barbie is really killing them, as Mars said. So it's like, it's kind of hard to say what's going to be the next thing and what's going to be, because it's like some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. As you did say, Ant-Man and Wasp, it performed the way it did before. Maybe if they added in some other characters like what's those guys, the Illuminati, maybe it would have done like $1 billion. They added some other characters from somewhere else to kind of make it bigger. But yeah, it's a weird time right now. So in my mind.
I'm working on that. Go click on my last text right now, my last clip right now. You'll see.
Hold on.
So we're talking about them doing 139 million domestic right now for Mission Impossible. Dude, Top Gun Maverick did $700 million domestic. How many times did people see it? That's almost 6 times the amount, domestic alone. That's a highly impressive number. People went out to see it again and again and again.
Yeah.
So that's something. So we didn't have that here with Top Gun, and with Mission Impossible. So clearly there's something going.
You can also go to the climate, though. The climate at the same time was that movies weren't making this money, and why did this one? People say this one saved the film industry. It was that big.
The nostalgia. It's a very clean show, very basic. That you don't have to worry much about it. It's the patriotism in there. So there's a lot of stuff. I get it. And probably that may be one of the challenges of Marvel. Marvel in Phase 4 has been trying a lot of different things.
What are they trying? What are they trying, Mars? What do they say? What are they trying?
They're showing, they're trying, PG-13. Different people are having, the politics of some of the things that they're choosing to do. And
Nice. I like that.
Go back to more the basic, let's just capture everybody formula as opposed to, because now some things are lightning rods for people, and that may be what they need to change up of. Let's make this a bigger tent, and hopefully you're focused on the story and the Marvels and anything else. Lastly, Petey, go back to the second to last um, chat, not the last one, the second to last one. That gives us a calendar of what's coming up and how do we think the Marvels will
God.
the competition there. Okay.
Well, with you saying that, we
Okay.
have a.
Sorry.
You see it? You saying that adds in? Does it do a sequel? Does it do sequel numbers of Maverick, or does it sequel numbers of Mission Impossible?
No. Yeah. Exactly. Good. That's a very good point. So look, November 3rd. If you look at the biggest movie coming out is Dune Part Two. So you know we have that whole. Will it be a big hit? Will they be able to? The Marvels come out the following week on the 10th, right? Right? There's nothing there holding them up. Then you have, of course, UFC on the 11th. That's a whole other issue. They're reissuing the Scarface, which is kind of wild, and Ghost in the Shell. So that's another thing. I don't think those are going to be huge hits. But November 17th, bro, they're dropping Trolls Band together, and they're dropping Hunger Games Battle of the Songbirds and Snakes. And those two alone may put a big crimp in what's going on with the Marvels. And lastly, November 22nd, supposedly Disney's movie Wish. They always have the Disney time around Thanksgiving. So
What about Napoleon?
I think it's a different audience we're talking about. I don't think
With the
it's.
Gladiator people, the people that went to Gladiator.
I haven't seen Napoleon trailer, so I don't know what whether they're doing the more cerebral thing or they're showing his action, the battles that he was doing.
I mean, they got him going to what's the name? They got him going to I think Egypt at some point. I mean, it's trying to be like big and like Gladiator was. It's the same director,
Well,
Joaquin
that's
Phoenix.
it's a possibility it could do, but I'm just saying there's a lot of competition here, right? But I'm trying to just put it more into the reality is the Marvels is being geared towards kids and adults, right? It's supposed to be a family movie. That's probably the better choice of words. A family movie,
Yeah.
and now you have it going against Hunger Games, which they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink for that. And then Trolls has been around. It was probably one of the most successful films done throughout the pandemic. So I'm just saying it's going to be for them to make that billion. This movie's going to have to hit it out the ballpark
So
coming
you
out.
think these two movies, The Trolls and The Hunger Games, is going to hurt Marvel's chances of doing something?
Yeah, I think Dune Part Two. I think Dune. I don't know how good it's going to be. There's a lot of action. The first one was decent, did well. It wasn't like tremendous. And if the second one does the same amount, I think people will be like, "Yo, it's good." But in terms of comparison, I think that it's going to really be, the family when people are saying, "Hey," because the thought is you do this movie now, right? November, November 10th, right? And for the next 2 weeks, and then you capture the Thanksgiving market, and you have now when it comes out, and then Thanksgiving when everybody's available, they go see another pair of movies, and hopefully it's back number one or back in the top movies there again. But you're talking about Trolls Band Together, you're talking about Hunger Games, and you're talking about the usual Disney fare, Wish, to see how those do. So I don't know. It's a lot. It's tough. So again, I hope the best for the movie. I hope that it does well. I hope it's something that can grab people and have legs. Because if it doesn't, I think we may have hit the superhero.
Wait, you're going a little too far here. You think
Cal agrees with me. What are you talking about? You know what I'm trying to say?
this is the end of the superhero thing?
Saying, dude,
You're going to saying it's Western, right? That's what you're trying to say?
I think we may have hit a wall. That's what I'm trying to say.
With because you're saying that there's some bad movies that have already been out that haven't done well. So if the bad movies don't do well, then the good ones don't have a chance either.
It has to do for it to be a success. It has to do as much as Guardians of the Galaxy or Quantum Mania. Not Quantum, yeah, Quantum Mania. We're no longer talking about automatic billion. If it does 750 million, I think it's going to be like, oh, it's a success.
Yeah.
That's going to be the yardstick.
About 500. Why can't it be 500 million?
500 is what basically Ant-Man got basically what 460
So
something.
that it's a sustainable level, 500 million.
That's for them, but I don't think they have the same sustainable level. I mean, that's half of what it made in 2019, 2018, right? So I don't think they'll consider that a success at all.
That
Cal,
was sad.
what's your take on this?
Based on what you said, I mean, you have to remember the westerns dominated films for a very long time,
Yes.
and it wasn't that every western was great. You had westerns that did terribly they did terribly at the end of the day. But for a very long time, this was standard fare. Superhero films haven't come anywhere close to that type of domination. That's one. And two, I just planned. It's not that superhero films haven't just recently came. It's just that they recently had some success, some really big success at the end of the day. I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. Okay, they've hit this rough patch. The biggest problem with it is that it's been self-inflicted. You have one company that did really well and decided, hey, our stuff doesn't stink, so we're just gonna come over here and drop a load and see what happens. And then you got the other one that just could not get its act together. Could not get its act together. And then people finally just said, no, you're not getting your act together. We're not coming out. You want to make these movies just for these hardcore dudes who want to see this particular uh, dystopian future, with superheroes who are supposed to prevent this type of stuff. Okay, so you have those two things going on, but for me, it's still the overall audience. It's still the overall audience that I'm not able to get right. I mean, there are times when I peg the movie wrong, and I'm like, oh, okay, this I didn't take into account. Here, you're doing the diligence, taking what you are supposed to take into account, and a little bit more, and the audience is just, hey, like left turns almost every film, left turns at the end of the day. So that for me is the biggest thing, and until that settles down, it's going to be really tough. I think it's going to be really tough on any film because you'll have a lot of stuff out there that might be very good and people are just going to beg off of it. And then you have other stuff that's going to be a big hit and you're like, what, this stinker? So I understand, then they're coming out, they're going to go for the tried and true stuff like, look, everybody liked this film, let's do a sequel. Standard Hollywood stuff. But if it works, great. That means that some things that were dependable are still dependable. If it doesn't work, then what do you do? Because these guys are very reluctant to try new stuff because that's worse. Then it becomes, oh man, we tried something new and we lost even more money. So going down, the next few months will definitely be educating for me to see where audiences is at. I just don't know what these cats want right now. My biggest theory is that people have decided that it's got to be excellent in order for us to turn out to certain things. So if it's not excellent, it's horrible.
I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. I understand that. So hey, we're hoping that Captain Marvel does well. I hope it lifts all the boats for superhero movies. Because of course
Hoping it's good. We're hoping it's good first.
it's good first. Good and enjoyable. And that it helps to reverse Marvel's and thing. Hey, I even hope it reverses DC issues because a couple of weeks after that you have Aquaman coming out. So we're hoping that even picks it up for them too.
That's delays. They
Oh
killed any
God.
chance of that.
Good luck with that.
They killed any chance that the billion they made on Aquaman will be successful with the Heard trial. How much other stuff has to go wrong for a movie? How many delays? What is wrong with saying that?
I'm not saying nothing, bro. Just not saying nothing.
Why are you reacting like that?
I'm not reacting no way, bro. That's all I'm saying. I'm not reacting no way.
They have no choice but to put it out because it was $1 billion, but they don't want to put it out. All right, so you want to go? You don't want to say nothing to that? All right, close it out then.
I'm just saying. You know what I'm trying to say? So hey, I hope we get a good we get a good thing. Spin rack.
Out.
All right.